Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing an update to my Thunder Dragon deck profile. I most recently posted one a couple of months ago. Obviously the ban list did hit both Magnamhut and Chaos Space, which does of course impact Thunder Dragons. Certainly this is not a meta deck by any stretch, but it is one that you could definitely take to locals and have success. When I did post that deck profile, I was taking this to locals at the time and saw mixed results. It did fairly well as well. So the changes are different. I haven't exactly tested them too much, but in theory, they do kind of make sense. So I will show you what we are doing with this deck. It is kind of like a combo pile. We'll start off with Batteryman Solar. Of course, this is the best normal summon just to send a Thunder monster. Usually that's going to be raw or dark, but most often it will just be raw, to then summon the dark, also get the token, and the goal is kind of just to push for a Sayuja play pretty early. With 1/1 Hawk and 1 Chaos Creator as well, alongside a Thunder Dragon Fusion, a Gold Sarcophagus, and a Foolish Burial. So as far as the Thunder Dragon portion goes, this is a lot smaller. I'm going to be, once I've kind of finished with this deck as well, I'm going to be kind of turning it into much more of a pure Thunder Dragon, utilizing Aloof Lupine, and just seeing where we can kind of go with that. I don't know where the Bystials fit into that as such, because you already have like Aloof Lupine to really kind of get the value out of your Thunder Dragons. But yeah, it's something that I'm going to play around with as well. So go back to kind of the older days of Thunder Dragon. So that's the Thunder Dragon engine. The Bystial side of things is 3 Libellion. Again, this is just the best one we want to see. And we're just playing one of each of these. I was playing 3 Sarani for a while. It's probably something I would try and fit in as well in the future, but this is what I'm playing at the moment. I'm playing that alongside the Regained and a Beast for the Bystials. And you kind of just want to see a Bystial or access to one of the baby Chaos Dragons. And obviously we have had black and white hit, so in that Chaos Space has been hit, so it's going to make things a little bit different. For the dragons, I'm on 2 Safer as an additional normal summon, and then black, white, and Chaos Space. So this is for the dragon side of things. Now, again, because we are trying to kind of turbo Sayuja, having Safer and Batteryman Solar both be cards that can be used not necessarily by just exclusively normal summoning. So they, Solar can be normal or specialed. Safer can use its effect, just its ignition effect once on the field. So Sayuja can summon the other one from hand, which is always really nice. But Sayuja can also summon, and this is where this is where the missing cards have gone. I'm playing a very small P.u.n.k engine, so it's one of each of the kind of key monsters that you'd want in the P.u.n.k engine alongside the 3 E-Telly. So 1 Foxy, 1 Deer, 1 Xiamen with 3 E-Telly. This is something I've been mucking around with because whilst Chaos Space does add the Chaos Dragons, I don't think that's necessarily what Chaos Space did best. I mean, it does, obviously that is a really good thing, but the other thing that Chaos Space actually really does in helping Bystial-based decks is that it actually just loads the graveyard. So this engine does that also. So it kind of gives us additional copies of Chaos Space in a weird roundabout way where it does definitely give us pluses, where Chaos Space would give us the baby dragons to set up seal. This gives us pluses in that we can kind of get negation and bodies out of this, but also Foxy's ability to discard is pretty important. So if you're having, if you need to make a Bystial live or get a Thunder Dragon out of the hand kind of thing, then this does the trick. And then what we're kind of doing with this engine is turboing a rank 8 to set up the Therions. So we're doing the play with the Diabolantis and Gigantic Champion Sargus. Just gives us an additional negation. I don't know if this is probably not the best use of space. If anything, this is a very easy side out. At least these 3 are a very easy side out, because one thing this deck doesn't have is non-engine slots really. I've only got space for 6 which I'm now playing Droplets because Droplets is a great card, and Talents. Could play Thrust with other cards as well, but this is kind of where I'm sitting with the ratios on non-engine. But definitely this is something that you could take out going second for more non-engine space when you're coming into side decking. But that is the main deck. I want to say it's 41. It's 40 or 41. It's not more than that. The extra deck is 1 Titan. We're only using the Titan really as a body. To get its effect, you kind of have to jump through a few hoops to get it. So we're not really going to be aiming to use its effect to pop cards on the field. It's mainly a body because Thunder Dragon Fusion represents really strong follow-up, especially being able to search Chaos Creator, which is one of my favorite cards. So being able to fusion for Creator just means that you can really push for game on the following turn if you can get this into the graveyard. So yeah, 1 Titan and 1 Gigantic Champion Sagas. You could play any other rank 8. You could certainly play like Harbinger or something like that and then not play the Therions. Obviously it's not a monster negate. I like that Regulus is an Omni negate. And then you can also kind of get some value out of Disc Coliseum in future turns too, if your things get beaten over. Then for the synchros, to kind of go with this punk stuff that we're playing, we're of course playing the 1 Diobalentus. He sends the Therion Lily, and I'm also playing 1 Psychic and Punisher, more as a going second option. You can make this obviously with Lubellion and Xiamen as well, not just the punk engine, but yeah, I think this is a pretty decent option to play. And the extra deck is fairly flexible in this deck. And I've got 1 Chaos Angel because we can kind of make this with one of the level 4 normal summons plus a Bystial. Can be pretty hard to out because we're making it with a Dark and a Light. The rest of the extra deck is links. So, and these, again, some come up all the time, some come up very rarely. Appaloosa, Access, Sayuja. For the link 4s, Unicorn's just a great link 3. Seal is what we're trying to aim for our end board. We want Seal somewhere on there. IP Masquerena is the other card we kind of want on our end board. Back when I was playing this a few months ago in cash format, I was pretty much just trying to set up Seal and Masquerena, and that alongside something like Beast or Regain, something like that, and that played really well. It looks like a very unassuming end board. It's just the same as like Seal Pass, but no, it definitely holds its own, especially at a local level. I'm playing 1 Pit Nut early. I had space, and this kind of variant that we're playing does have the opportunity to kind of spit out more bodies. So then what we can kind of aim to do is set up, as far as the end board goes, we're just making all these like kind of unassuming link 2s. So we'd set something up like Seal in the extra monster zone, Pit Nut early here, IP here, and then Beast Regained, maybe Regulus is on board as well. Just lots of kind of small interactions, but they're definitely strong. So they're the link 2s. Also playing Dark, of course. It's just a very strong card. And then I'm playing Striker and Pisty. Pisty could probably be cut. It just depends. It comes up sometimes, especially when you go Sayuja. So often what would happen is, depending on the board state, so you turbo Sayuja with like Batteryman Solar and a Bystial, and then depending on what you draw and what you have access to, you can, if you have the baby dragons or Safer, for example, you can make Pisty and then bring back a Bystial or bring back the Safer. And then these 2, obviously Sayuja can special summon from the hand as well, but then these 2 can then go into the Seal. It's kind of a way of consolidating the Thunder portion into dragons, because otherwise the only way to kind of get to Seal is through either 2 Bystials, which is not very likely when you're only playing 6, 3 of them being Lubellion, and the baby dragons. So Sayuja and then turning 1 dragon into a Pisty, or just if the dragon was not if it was a Bystial, for example, so turning Sayuja and a Bystial, that makes Seal as well. So Sayuja is really important, and then Pisty can just kind of help get into the IP from that. That is the extra deck. I'll do a couple of test hands just to kind of show you what the deck can do. Okay, so for our test hands, we'll use our Everyone's King from the Resonator structure deck as our Batteryman Solar tokens if we need them. And we'll see how we go with these test hands. So like I said, we're trying to kind of set out Seal, IP, some kind of combination of that. So 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is a pretty decent start. We can definitely get some pieces of interaction here with what we have. So what we'll do first is we'll definitely start off with E-Tally, because this portion of the deck sets up our negate. So we'll get to Xiamen, and then this is kind of where what the P.u.n.k line will aim to do. Xiamen effect will search for the Foxy Tune. As you can see, we've got cards in the hand that happily will be in the graveyard. So we'll go Foxy Tune, Pitch Dark, because later on we'll be able to use Safer to banish it, or even Hawk, bring it back. That's going to summon out the Deonote. And then we're going to Synchro for Diabolantis. We're going to use its effect as well as Deonote's effect, targeting the Foxy Tune. That will come out, and Diabolantis will send Therion Lily to the grave. The other thing you could play, and I was testing this for a little bit, but when you really think about it, in the graveyard, the only really good banish effects you have are Dark and Raw. So I was playing Zombie Vampire as a rank 8, but I don't know, it just didn't feel like it did enough. Like, yes, it certainly loads the graveyard, but I guess if we were playing things more like Shadows or tier monsters, for example, like that would be a lot stronger. But yeah, it just didn't quite work out when the only banish effects we had were like Dark and Raw. Wasn't as strong. But yeah, we'll get Gigantic Saga's effect to add Disc Colosseum. We'll activate the Disc Colosseum to grab Regulus. Now, Gigantic Champion Sargus was our 5th summon, so they could Nibiru before we activate Sargus, because it's Xiamen, Deonote, Diabolantis, Foxy, Sargus. Yeah, so that's 5th summon. So they could Nibiru at that point, which ultimately would be fine. It doesn't actually stop anything, because like the Regulus was always going to trade with Nibiru anyway. Obviously we wouldn't have access to Regulus or Disc Colosseum at this point, but it wouldn't matter because the Nibiru would have already been used in that case, if you know what I mean. We'll summon out the Regulus now. We'll put it over here. We'll get Lily onto the Regulus. And now we are free to kind of play a little bit more. So we're going to normal the Safer now. We'll send itself away to grab White Dragon. We'll banish the Dark to summon White. Dark's going to get its effect. Now, just trying to think if we can get to a point where, because if we search, no, we'd rather search Thunder Dragon Fusion, but there's not really a way to put it in the graveyard at this point either. We've already got the Hawk. A Raw would just summon out. No, I will search the Thunder Dragon Fusion. There's not really a way to put it in the graveyard at this point, but if we can Sayuja into a Thunder Dragon Raw, or just any Thunder Dragon monster, the fusion would suddenly become live. From here we'll go White into Striker. Put it up here. We'll get White to search for Black. And now we're just thinking of bodies and how we can kind of best get to where we want to be. So holding Black would be really nice for a Safer Sayuja, like to summon Black and turn it into Pisty to bring back like the Salage Safer here. though currently we don't have a dark in the graveyard to summon our Chaos Creator. So what we could do is we will use the Hawk to bring back dark. We might have to make a link 2 first, which is not as ideal. I mean, we could just make Pisty. Could just summon the black and go into seal this way, but I don't know, making Sayuja is kind of fun. We've got the regular side, we've got all these bodies that are just kind of sitting here doing nothing. So what we can do is, no, we will link these away. We'll make dark. We've already used Thunder Dragon Dark's effect, so we don't get to use that one. But what we can now do is summon Chaos Creator. And we're now actually a banished monster short to be able to use Chaos Creator's effect. No, it's fine. No, what we'll do is we'll banish the dark and the white, because what we'll do is we will use Chaos Creator to put back white, and that would allow our black to continue searching. Then what we'll do is we will actually summon the black by banishing the Hawk. Now we'll banish the Safer. No, we'll banish the Hawk, because we do want to kind of keep that dragon in rotation. So now we can go Creator Effect, and this is going to put back these. So our Thunder Dragon Fusion probably now is not as good here, but that's okay. So we will summon the Dark off Creator. These two will get bottomed to the deck, bottom of the deck. And now we can go 1, 2, 3, 4 into Sayuja. We will draw 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so now what we have to do is obviously put 3 back. And now the Thunder Dragon Fusion is obviously going to lose all value. And the main thing we're going to search is Chaos Creator. So we're going to get rid of that. And we'll probably get rid of the 2 droplets here, because we've actually got Solar and Sarani, which can actually set up the Thunder Dragon. Maybe we can make... Sarani can banish Dark. Oh, Sarani can, sorry, Solar can dump Raw. Sarani can banish, that gets our 3 Thunder Dragon monsters, but we need both of these to make that happen. So yeah, we do have to lose the fusion. There's not really a better way to do that. I mean, we could actually make the fusion live because we've got the ability to do so, but we need both of these to do it. Yep, so now we can go Black Dragon into... No, we won't make it Pisty yet because we want to use Sayuja's effect as special from the hand. We'll summon out Solar. We'll use Solar effect to still send Raw. We'll see how we go for bodies. We might actually be able to make something more interesting work. We might actually be able to make the Thunder... No, sorry, we can't make Titan. I keep going around in circles. Now we can go Black into Pisty. Black will search white. We can Pisty summon back a dragon, which I think the only target we'll have... Oh, we've got Striker and Safer. Doesn't really matter which one we summon back. And now we can go Sayuja and Pisty up into the seal. We can go Saranir to... I'm trying to think of the way we can actually get to a Lubellion. Because Saranir can dump Lubellion, but there's not any other higher level... We can save it, add it back. Yep, okay, we can keep going. So we'll go Saranir, summon, banishing Raw, can summon Dark. This feels like the equivalent of like Master Duel, just clicking buttons. I don't know where we're heading. We didn't actually... Now, Solar's effect is mandatory to summon a token. So we will have to backtrack a little bit. No, actually, Saronir, Raw, Summon Dark. Solar can't actually activate now because our zones are full, so it doesn't matter. So it does activate, but we don't have the zone to make that work at this point. So we can now go Safer and Saronir to make Pit Knight early. Saronir's effect will send Lubellion. Dark and Solar can make IP Masquerena. And then we can Safer, add back Lubellion. We can pitch Lubellion to search for Magnamhut. You can summon the Magnamhut by banishing a guy. And then we can turn the Magnamhut into a Lubellion. We can use it to place Beast. Oh, obviously we declare Magnamhut. Place Beast. And then in end phase, we will add the Druid Swim. There we go. That kind of worked out really well. Yeah, that's pretty decent. That's probably as kind of far as it can go. There was a world where if we kind of had one additional card, there was a world where we could have, and obviously our zones were kind of all over the place as well, but we could have certainly, the Raw, which is banished, Raw's effect adds back the monster it summons if it was still in the field. So if we could have gotten to Titan and Raw had summoned the Dark from the deck, this would have bounced an end phase and we would have had Titan live as well. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. That's the end board there. It's pretty crazy. We kind of got to see all of the different engines at play. That was a very long combo test hand number 1. We'll do another one and see yeah, where that goes. And that's kind of what this deck does, is it's just a bit of a hodgepodge of engines and things, and you just, yeah, there's little steps to the end board that we're trying to achieve. Seal, Pit Knight, IP, and then kind of whatever else we can kind of gather on top of that is where we're kind of going. So we'll try and do another one. Hopefully it's not as long as that first one. And I'm sure there was certainly ways I probably could have made that first one better or more efficient. But being at a combo like that under the Regulus is not something to be scoffed at. Having that kind of protection is good. All right, for our second one, we have Talents, Beast, Dark, oh dear, Hawk, Droplet. All right, there we go. That's more like what I've seen with this deck as well. Is that this hand is obviously awful. It's just really awful. The only thing you can really do is pitch Dark to search Dark. We can use Hawk to summon back Dark. That's it. That's all we can do. Nothing else. All right, well, that second one was a lot shorter. We'll have time for another one. Talents, Regulus, Raw, Foolish Burial, and Safert. Okay. Well, this is fine. Having the Raw in hand is unfortunate. I mean, again, this is where Chaos Space is awesome because it can get things out of the hand. Opening the Regulus here is pretty annoying. Yep, nothing more to say about that one. But probably what we're going to do first is normal Safert. Use it to get, we'll get white. We'll go Foolish, send Raw, banish the raw to summon the white. The raw will trigger to summon out dark. We can link white into striker. White will search black. Summoning the black by banishing the white. Link into seal, which is there. And kind of at a stopping point here. There's not a lot more we can do. There's nothing more that we can do. Is there a way we could have made that any better with what we had? Probably not. In this case, did we want to summon dark? What we could actually do then, in hindsight, knowing that this was as far as we were going to get, I should have seen that. Probably don't actually summon dark. With the raw, might just summon out Hawk. The Hawk will bounce back. This is by very definition going to be Seal's Pass. Obviously this is not very strong. Surely we kind of lose through Seal's Pass, but I guess if we do make it, Hawk can bring back Raw, and we do have kind of further plays from there. Something that I didn't include in the deck profile was something like Beatrice. Beatrice is a very interesting card in that we're playing Raw, we're playing the Bystials. So a rank 6 is not outside the realm of possibility. For a while I had Wallow in the deck. Beatrice is interesting. Certainly like the ability to use Zombie World is really nice. So that could be a side deck consideration, and having Beatrice makes that a lot better. The next one, Droplet, Nibelion, E-Telly, Safer, and Talents. So this is pretty nice. This can do a whole heap of different things. Again, we'll probably start with the E-Telly, just because we know that this is going to get a lot of the bricks out of the deck as well. It's going to set up that negation. So Ziaman, search Foxy. We can use the Foxy. Is there a world where we use Lubellion, Saronir? No, we'll go Foxy. We can get rid of Talents. We'll hang on to Droplet, and that will summon out Deonate. And then we can Synchro. Diabolantis and Deonate both activate. Foxy comes back. But yeah, definitely the Therions would be an easy side out for going second. That's Dumping Lily. These two can overlay for Sargus. We'll use Sargus to add Disc Coliseum. And activate Disc Coliseum. Use the effect to add Regulus. And put Regulus on the field. Equipping Leather Warrior. Another card that you can actually, again, there's always lots of different options that you could play. Another thing that we could play is actually Nightmare Griffin. It's something that I love Nightmare Griffin. I think it's a great card. Because of how the end board works with Seal, Pit Knight early, IP, instead of going Seal, Pit Knight, IP and Pit Knight could just be Nightmare Griffin. Or you could even IP into Griffin as another consideration over something like Appaloosa. I could probably talk myself into that. It's not a terrible option. Having Regulus here works with the Griffin being here too. Could be an idea if you want to go down that path as well. Definitely something that you could incorporate with no worries at all. Save it, send itself away. We'll grab black this time. We'll summon the black by banishing the... Oh, it's going to be the Safe It. It's going to have to be the Safe It. Yes. Unfortunate. I forgot I had Deonate under the Sargus. That's okay. Then we will link the pull up Serpent off for striker, get white. We're not going to be pushing into Sayuja here. We kind of need like the token or the thunders to really kind of get the bodies going for that. But we'll get white, summon white, banish black, and then link 2 into seal. And then we can go with the Bystials. So use Lubellion. Choice here is obviously Sarani and Magnamhut. I do like, you know, Sarani being able to get beast and regained. I think that's really nice. Though it's up to you. Obviously, this gets the Druid Worm in hand, which is interesting. We've already got Droplet as a settable interruption. So maybe we just play for branded beast and then get the Druid Worm. So we've got beast and Druid Worm, which is fairly clean. So we won't go Sarani this time. Grab Magnamhut. Summon Magnamhut by banishing the Striker Dragon and use its effect. Turn it into a Lubellion. And Lubellion's effect can place the branded beast. And then we can link off Sargus and Bystial Lubellion for IP. Set the droplet. Go into end phase and grab out Druid Worm. So the difference here, we would just trade Druid for regained if we wanted to go for beast and regained, which is certainly a viable option also, but that's kind of where we're going to end there. And then that would mean Seal could tag out into Magnamhut, because at the moment now Seal can only tag into Safer or yeah, maybe having Seal being able to tag into Magnamhut is better. There's also a world where you play Chaos Dragon Levianir. Yeah, there's definitely a world where you could do that, because Levianir on like turn 3, similar to like what you would do in Dragon Link, is crazy. Probably something that should be in the list somewhere also, if I can kind of find some space. But otherwise, I'll leave it there. This is my kind of combo Thunder Dragon pile. It's enjoyable. Decks that can kind of just do unorthodox combos where it's not as kind of obvious and you've kind of got to just work it out is always a lot of fun. But otherwise, I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.